Oh, I'm sorry about that.
It's Benny's live stream. Broadcasting live every night, 9 p.m. Central European Time.
Welcome to today's live stream. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoyed my first weekly vlog that I put out yesterday. I gotta say this was so much fun to create this because I really learned a lot about cutting and transitions and all that kind of stuff, and I can't wait to improve. But yeah, that was a cool first project that I wanted to accomplish during these crazy times we're living in right now. So, how you've been? It's Motivation Monday again, and thanks again for telling me how to spell motivation right, Mike. Thank you so much. um, we're back with a brand new week of live streams, so I want to stay in my schedule, and actually, I'm looking forward to today's topic because I want to talk about the power of envisioning yourself and, in particular, your future self. This is something, it's a tool that I used plenty of times in my entire life. I used it for so many things. I used it for me as the person, Benny. And I also used it for me, the artist, Benny. So, for my career, basically. And I think this is a very important topic because we can use our future self, envisioning our future self. Um, we can use this future self to stay on track with our moral values, with the actions that we take, with the goals that we want to accomplish, and the way towards these goals, right? So, and I have a very powerful tool. It's a very, very easy thing to do. It's a vision board. Who does have a vision board? Let me know in the comments. I used a vision board ever since I was, I don't know, maybe 12 or so. So when I was 11, I got my first bass. I was having piano lessons with a much earlier age. I started out at the age of 5. But then at 11, to my 11th birthday, I got my first bass, a Yamaha RBX 3 something. I don't know. I borrowed it to a friend so he could practice bass right now, but I still got it. And so when I got this bass, I felt this immediate connection between me and the instrument, and I knew at a very early point of my life, I knew that this is it. This is it. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And so at the age of 14 or so, I decided to be, I wanted to be a professional musician full time when I'm older. But I started out with having a vision board much earlier because I felt this intermediate connection with the instrument. And I was starting envisioning myself on like huge stages in front of like billion people, of course. And back in the day when I did that, I was drawing a lot. I was obsessed with drawing and also painting. And we had this room back at the place where my parents live. We had this room where like it was full stuffed with art stuff. Like my mother used to paint as well, and this was like my room where I painted. And there was this very tiny TV, and I usually just like let MTV play over the time I was painting or drawing. And back in the day, Daft Punk came out with these comic kind of music videos, and I loved them. And also um, the Gorillas, Clint Eastwood, for example. That was really really cool. And the TV just played all these music clips, and I watched them while I was painting. And that was actually not subconsciously. This was probably like the first envisioning my future career, because I was envisioning myself being on these stages. And I did draw like some Daft Punkish kind of comics back in the day. And I was envisioning myself being one of those guitar players, bass players, singers, whatever. And so I took this vision into my life, and um, I never really stopped thinking about this. Really, up to this day, I don't stop thinking about like myself playing in front of huge crowds. Um, Although I accomplished this to a pretty good level, so I've been on tour with major stars here in Germany. Um, and I did play with a lot of greats in the music industry. Um, but it's always something different if you're envisioning yourself like being this one figure, standing in front of the crowd and performing your songs, performing your personal art, right? So I drew all these pictures, and I try to envision myself as much as possible. Um, when I grew into music a little more, so when I took lessons, and when I also got to know a lot more music, um, I was crazy with music, and I had this Sony Discman, which I was very very happy to have. And I would put my earbuds um, into my ears at night, so my parents thought I was sleeping. But I actually was listening to some music that my brothers gave me. And I envisioned myself, as soon as the light turned off, I envisioned myself performing these songs, like me as the artist performing this. And so I was sitting up uptight, and performed on my bed, so in the dark, and just used my imagination to come up with the pictures to that. And that was that was very powerful, because that gave me a lot of um, um, security to get into this field, and because it gave me so much joy, and also some very embarrassing moments when when one of my brothers came in or so. And he would see me performing like with my earbuds in. Oh, good times. Um, this is a very powerful tool, and I think we lose some of these powerful tools that we have as a child, um, when we grow up. Unfortunately, that's totally fine. But I think as a musician, it's our job to give out some of these, or give back some of this imagination with songs that we create, with songs that we tell, with stories that we tell. And I think musicians, especially songwriters, and storytellers, are brutally honest with all their feelings and all their experiences, and it's worth to share experience, because every experience has something important. And you never know who who's getting inspired from your story. So I'm just reading. You did the same thing with friends. You you pretended to be Led Zeppelin. That's cool. Um, so I came up with a pretty cool thing. I didn't come up with it, but I use it. I use this tool, and I used this tool ever since I was 12. So I printed out pictures. I did a lot of stuff and put them on a piece of paper, hung them on the wall, and I made sure I see this like multiple times a day. And I still have a vision board up to this day. In fact, I just put up a new one about last year, maybe, right before Corona came along. Mm. Okay, so and some people are really embarrassed about their vision boards, and I don't get it because this is something I also find a lot. People are very embarrassed to share their true ambition. Why is that so? That's really strange. A lot of people are super embarrassed to share their true ambitions, to share their dreams, as crazy as they might seem. But who cares, right? So, this said, here's my vision board. There we go. And I want to talk you through some stuff I've put on here. And I think it's important to say that my vision board not only shows stuff that is regarding my career, because I think a human life is so much more than just career, right? Um, oh yeah, Jan, I think that's a very stupid German thing, but I also experienced it with a lot of like international people that I met. Um, I don't know why this is so, but um, I only can tell that the most successful people I met in my entire life, and this is a great example. Paul Gilbert. Paul Gilbert is a legend to so many people, an idol to so many people, and he was an idol to me and still is. Um, and he's one of those guys that always stayed very playful, very um, humble, very accessible, and also what I experienced with him working with him um, was that he has no problem to tell about his dreams. So he was telling us when we had dinner that he about all these projects that he still wanted to do, and all the stuff that he's striving for right now. He's been telling us about a drummer that he met that inspired him so much to write like 3 songs in one night from only one practice with this guy. So that was so inspiring to me, and having somebody like him talking about his dreams so freely and so uh, I mean he always he just talked about his dreams as this. I don't know how old he is. I don't want to offend him. Maybe like in his 50s, I guess. Um, but having this guy of his age talking about his dreams like a 12-year-old boy, and still having this magnetic virtue to so many other people that you can do nothing else but go with it, right? Um, that's something I want to accomplish in my life, and that's a massive goal as a person, right? So, this said, let's jump into my vision board. I just want to tell you a little bit about this thing. This is in my hallway, so I pass it like I don't know 40 times a day, and I try to just stay there for a couple minutes as much as possible and just think about the stuff that I put on there as much as possible. So, first of all, there's me in the center. obviously. And the funny thing is, beginning of the year, I was having some consulting sessions with a great music consultant that I met in LA, and he was just asking if I considered changing my name to Benjamin Judd, my artist name to Benjamin Judd, not Benny Judd. And I was like, oh man, Benjamin Judd sounds very nice. Sounds very cool. Sounds more like a brand. I think I can do some cool branding campaigns with Benjamin Judd, and I can make like a killer uh like a killer logo with that and all that kind of stuff. So I just put it on there because I was considering it, and just like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I passed this vision board and said, the fuck, I don't want, I want to change my name. I got stuff out there that I'm really proud of. So why should I confuse the people with changing a name? Who cares about a name? If you like the music, you I can't even spell like the top 10 artists of the Billboard charts. And the funny thing is, Spotify won't help you with your searching results, right? So it's not like Google, that you can type in whatever the fuck you want and misspell everything, but Google will still find it. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So that's why Benjamin Judd is still on here, but I made up my mind. Also, I kind of divided all these things a little bit into some categories. So over here you can see some career stuff. Also down here, lyrics is some career stuff as well, but this is more like the personal side of things that I wanted to accomplish over the years. So I hung this up. Must have been like December, I guess. So end of the year, and then like March 2020 changed everything. It dropped a bomb on this vision board. But I don't need to tell you about this, right? No, so I want to just talk you through some stuff I put on here. I put some stuff of a studio that I wanted to create. So I was actually saving up some money for an analog board. Um, Maybe I need to save up some more money now, but that's all right. And also, I wanted to grow a following on my social media. I wanted to put on live streams and all that kind of stuff. I read a couple books on social media, for example, like 1 million followers. Um, and also, like, I combined all this off with financial success, and also here momentum. So I wanted to create momentum with my stuff that I put out there, and also to grow a community here on YouTube, to grow a larger community on Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. Then I put a category down here saying amazing songs. Of course, I wanted to write amazing songs, and I put down John Mayer's Continuum because like this is the most timeless record that I listened to within the last 15 years, I guess. So always wanted to be a timeless artist. So I wanted to be the artist that I myself want to listen to in 15 years from now. And also, my fiance and I, we had the idea to found a record label last year. We wanted to call it JJ Records. Still in the making. We're gonna do that. I also put down a picture of LA because I wanted to travel back to LA as well. Also, I wanted to improve on all my lyric skills. So that's why I put like some of my favorite Dylan and John Mayer quotes right here. I could have like posted a lot more of my idols, lyric idols, but I just kept it simple here. And I gotta say, like this Dylan quote is so inspiring. The highest purpose of art is to inspire. What else can you do? What else can you do for anyone but inspire them? amazing. Also, I wanted to explore the world a little more because I didn't do much traveling over the last couple of years, other than like the European countries. Um, Also like more of the Central European countries. I also wanted to learn a couple more languages, at least give it a shot. Um, I didn't. I was always obsessed with Brazil, and I love the Brazilian music. I love the Portuguese and Brazilian language, although I know there are differences. So I thought it would be very nice to learn Portuguese. My fiance's family is part Turkish, part Italian, so I wanted to at least give it a shot to learn a little bit of Turkish. Spanish I had in school, so I wanted to just relearn a bit. Also, I wanted to get back on the drawing. As I told you, I did this obsessively. I did work out a lot over the last couple of months, and also over the last year, I guess. We were planning to get married this year. We already had a plan scheduled and all that kind of stuff, so maybe there's still some work to do. Also, I wanted to read a lot more. I wanted to evolve my spirit and grow my mindset, grow a healthy mindset, and also maybe even write a book myself. Hey Filippo, you got a fan from Brazil, so maybe you can teach me Brazilian. um. So. Needed this espresso. Okay, so this is basically my vision board for more than a couple months now. And I gotta say, every time I pass it, I get a good feel because I envision myself in any of these individual situations. And here's the power thing. And this is the part where we're actually going to talk about the future self. Because if you want to put up a vision board, the most powerful tool to use it is if you're envisioning yourself having accomplished each of these things already. And if you think about the emotional connection that you have to each of these individual things, and the emotional connection to having accomplished all of these things. Because let's say I accomplished having a dope ass home studio with a great analog board that I wanted to buy, with the speakers that I love. And it's a fun fact that both of these are ATCs, because I was really thinking about getting some ATCs. But that's a different topic. And so I feel very, very good. And I feel that I can accomplish every musical goal and every musical recording, every mix, everything music related, music production related, if I have this, right? And you probably know this yourself. You come up with obstacles instead of just doing something right away. And you kind of talk yourself out of stuff. For example, there's a large debate going on in the online world, talking about like gear that you need to buy to make awesome records, right? And the truth is, the major hits today, most of the major hits today, are made by kids doing stuff on laptops, right? Billie Eilish, it's a perfect example. They mainly produced on a laptop. So all the creative process was made with very little equipment. So they had a DAW, they had some cool kind of samples that they used. They made some killer beats and they recorded some vocals on that, right? That's it. That's it. You don't need to have super super expensive and super super um, great gear to be creative. You can be inspired from great gear, and that's why I have some really great gear around myself here. Um, so I do have some analog stuff, and I do have some more expensive basses, right? Because that took over some inspiration, and that gave me some inspiration as well. That's great. But I I did play bass on a Yamaha $300 bass for quite some time before I could afford like a Marlowe bass guitars, which is, oh, I gotta show you my very first bass from Marlowe. Check it out. Still have it, of course. I rarely play it these days, but I just wanted to show it to you because it's such a beauty. Still in love. So and I remember the feeling I had when I first got this bass. I was so inspired because it was so beautiful and sounded so beautiful. And also it was a lot easier to play than my Yamaha. And it was much easier to get a sound out of this. And also the handling like with the fretboard was so much better. And so you can get inspired from gear, but gear should never uh, be in your way of creativity. So your creative outlet is not dependent on gear, and this is a true fact. True fact. So because you can get creative with basically everything. We showed that in our beat production video, right? So you sent me some random sounds, and we made something very creative with it that required no gear than an other than an iPhone to record something, and like a little bit of DAW to manipulate some sounds. That's it, right? So creative ways are limitless. So yeah, this is what I mean about like having the emotional connection to envision yourself having these things already. So envision your future self 10 years from now having all these things that I just put up here. So I envision myself having 1 million followers. And I envision myself how I would interact with these people, how I would use this community, how I would um, try to give back as much as possible, how I try to um, make the best out of this career for making the best out of these 1 million followers in terms of my music. How can I use this community to support my music? How can I use my music to support this community? All that kind of stuff. So I envision myself being on this stage right here, playing my songs, not being sideman, right? Um, how does that make me feel? How secure am I feeling about this? And the beauty of this is that once you can really feel the stuff that you put on there, you can also feel if it's really really what you want. So if this gives you like goosebumps and a very warm feeling inside, you really want it. But sometimes you put stuff on there like material stuff, like I don't know, a fancy car, and if you pass the vision board like 40 times a day and ask yourself, what does this Ferrari, this whatever, give you emotionally? I'm pretty sure that after like 100 times passing the vision board and asking this question, you probably won't find as many arguments to hold up for this material thing, because we're actually looking for long term accomplishments. Some people find long term accomplishments in having a great car. That's totally fine, but not for me. Um, so always think about this emotional connection that you have. Um, when I see this, like the lyrics that inspire me, and also the lyricists that inspire me, and I envision myself being one of those lyricists. I think about all those things they gave me with their lyrics, and I think about the things I could give with great lyrics, and how I could inspire somebody out there with my lyrics, because that's right here is the most beautiful thing that you can do. The highest purpose of art is to inspire. What else can you do? What else can you do for anyone but inspire them, right? This is so true. Now, let me put back my bass. So, this is a very powerful tool. When I see this, I think about traveling and what it gives me, how I love to travel. When I think about drawing, I think about my childhood. I think about the the timeless, um, the limitless hours that I spent in this room just drawing, without thinking about anything but to finish this drawing. Right. Um, this is like a good representation of my childhood. I was drawing a lot of like jazz images like this one. This one is not from me, but I was drawing a lot of Miles Davis back in the day. Um, Working out, it makes you feel so secure, so alive if you're pushing yourself to limits, right? What does your family mean to you? Like getting married, planning a wedding. It's one of the most beautiful things I could ever think of. Um, Also, I gotta say, this guy right here, he had a massive impact on me last year with his book High Performance Habits. He's called Brendon Burchard. If you don't know him, check him out immediately. He's a motivation master. So all of these things give me some emotional connection, and this is very important if you want to create a vision board yourself. So always pick those images that give you an emotional connection to the category that you want to put on the vision board. Okay, so this is my vision board, and I want to share with you a little goodie that I just created for you. Where is it? Here we go. I want to share the link to this PDF file that I just closed for whatever reason. This is a checklist. I'll put it right here. This is a checklist to create your own vision board. And I will put this in the description so you can download it if you want. And I want to just encourage you to put up your vision board. Sorry, I just need to answer this real quick. Brendon Burchard. Right here. And the book is called High Performance Habits. I will also put a link into the description after I finish the live stream. So, first, write down 5 things you want to accomplish over the long term. Write down 5 things you want to accomplish over the short term. Find at least one representative image of a person for each of those, or maybe like an image of a thing or of a person for each of those things, and cut them out. Glue them on a blank piece of paper and categorize them. So example, can do it like me, like mindset, education, family, values, career, all that kind of stuff. You can come up with your own categories as long as you have an emotional connection to that. And put it somewhere in your apartment where you're going to see it multiple times a day. That's important. And the best place to put it is a place where you naturally feel relaxed and inspired. And yes, I do know many people that have vision boards in their bathrooms. Either bathrooms or like bedrooms, usually. So, and from now on, every time you see it, you regard the things you put on there as things you've already accomplished. Every time you pass the board, now you should think about how you feel from having accomplished all these things and what it brought into your life. What did it bring to your life and the life of your loved ones? What did it do to you? Did it do to your personal balance? Here we go. What did improve since you accomplished these things? What did get worse? How did it shape your character, your moral values, and all that kind of stuff? So come up with questions that strengthen the connection, the emotional connection between you and the stuff you put on there. This way, you will have a lot more power to raise energy, to raise necessity, to strive for these things. And also, you're going to feel a lot more courage to take action, to get all the things that you want, and also to express your true goals, your true ambitions. This is something we had earlier. I think this is really important because you're attracting people that are actually capable to help you accomplishing all this stuff. So there you have it. Another checklist for you guys to download. And I think I want to close today's live stream with this. Let me know in the comments if you have a vision board, if you ever made one, if you believe in stuff like that, because this is strongly connected to the law of attraction, I guess. And I'm actually planning to make a video on the law of attraction as well, because I truly believe in it, and I experienced it plenty of times. And I think that would be a cool topic maybe for next Motivation Monday. So thank you ever so much for watching my live stream today. I hope you enjoyed this topic. It was a pleasure. If you liked it, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell if you want to be notified about any upcoming video or live stream. And I'm going to see you tomorrow for Tuesday. Me against the clock. So I have something planned for tomorrow, which is going to be a lot of fun. And other than that, here's the jingle. Have a wonderful week and keep being motivated and inspire other people. I'm going to see you tomorrow.
It's Benni's live stream. Broadcasting live every night, 9 p.m. Central European Time.
See you tomorrow.